guy. And I went back to a new, so far removed from all we've been through. Oh, and you tread a trouble track. Your odds are always stacked. You'll go back to black. We only said goodbye with words. I know 100 times. I go back to her, and you go back to. You go back to.
Yep. She's about to film. Yeah, thanks.
So what I'm doing now, I've decided just to play around with colour a bit. So I've just put one colour, I've chosen a blue to put on that side. And a bit of fun here. I'll put some yellow on. So I haven't cleaned my plate. I've still got that colour that was underneath before. But I'm just going to be daring and just slap some yellow on top. And a bit of red as well. Let's see what It is, it's really hard.
We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go
Around my
back
hand
to
with
her.
bitumen, so it was actually done with a paintbrush.
We only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go back to her and I go back to. I go back to.
Do a report on.
Yeah,
Okay.
event review. So,
Alright.
so you can talk about the medium of how you put it all together. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So,
okay.
yeah.
Am I talking to camera or am I talking to you?
Oh, you can talk to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Michael Kempson's my name. I'm an etcher. I live in Sydney. So the work that I'm looking at here is a print called, I can't even remember what it's called. It's called Economies of Scale. It's an etching, which is a traditional printmaking technique that involves drawing an image through an acid-resistant ground onto a piece of metal.
Yep.
Where you draw the image, it tears away some of that acid-resistant covering and exposes the metal.
Oh.
The plate is,
Yeah.
once the drawing is finished, is then put into an acid bath that etches grooves into the line, into the plate where you've drawn. And then once your etching is finished, you clean the resist off the plate to reveal the plate with a stack of grooves in it. And the grooves that I've etched into this image is the line work. Line work with the panda and the line work with the koala.
Koala, yeah.
Then I've used a couple of other processes. Another technique called aquatint,
Yep.
which is a way of getting tone. And you can sort of see the tonal areas, the dark blacks there, or even the splashes are achieved using the aquatint process.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, can you talk about the symbolism as well?
Yeah, okay.
Like,
Well,
you said
fairly
before-
direct image.
Yeah.
Economies of scale refers to the rising presence of China
Yep.
in the Asia-Pacific region. And so it's pretty self-evident that the motive there is a panda, which represents China. And the motive between the legs of the panda is Australia. So it symbolises a couple of things. I
Yeah.
did this work just after a residency at Taronga Zoo, and I was sort of interested in the toys that they sold in the gift shop.
Yeah, the souvenirs.
So using those toys, I do a lot of arranging of the toys to talk about issues of geopolitics, particularly the rising presence of China in Asia. And of course, that's something that Australians need to come to terms with.
Yeah.
And a lot of Australians have been struggling to come to terms with the rising presence of Asia. So by using the symbols of the playthings of children, I'm asking a question. So is intolerance, is racism something that is innate within us, or is it something that's learned? And of course, I think by using the motives that I am, I'm implying that it's learned. So that our country, for a long time, have struggled to come to terms with our position in Asia.
Yeah.
And have feared Asia because we've feared the unknown, because we've been a very Eurocentric country. So I'm happy to and very open to connecting with and developing relationships with Asia. And I do a lot of stuff in China, Taiwan, Thailand, Pakistan, and this exhibition over here, which is an exhibition between Australian printmakers and Japanese printmakers, is part of that dialogue.
Yeah, so it can fit in with this. So
That theme.
Yeah.
I think that they like the pandas in China, in
Japan, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I'd get the image, and of course, Japan has to find a way of developing a relationship with China. They've traditionally had very long-standing links through Confucianism and through Buddhism. But as China asserts itself and asserts its presence, Japan has to come to terms with that as well. So they have to find ways in which they relate to one another also.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's all I have for now. So, all right. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Enjoy
See
the
you.
show.
Thank you.
See ya.